Yamamoto. This is the minute 3 people were killed in a crash involving a Cybertruck in Piedmont. It appeared to have collided into a tree around 3 this morning on Hampton Road and King Avenue. Police say a passing driver pulled a sole survivor out of the burning wreck. San Mateo County Sheriff Christina Corpus reaffirmed she has no plans to resign. In a statement, she said stepping down would set a dangerous precedent, jeopardizing the progress she has made. Corpus has been accused of misconduct, bullying, and racism. Blake Snell is headed to the Dodgers. The two-time Cy Young winner opted out of his $30 million option with the Giants. He signed a 5-year, $182 million contract plus a $52 million signing bonus with the World Series champions. The Bay Area's only primetime newscast at 8 and 9 p.m. on ViX Plus 44 Cable 12. I'm Ryan Yamamoto. This is The Minute.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
We're finally beginning to dry up just in time for Thanksgiving travel today and Thanksgiving Day tomorrow. We have 60s in the forecast throughout most of the Bay Area, like Fremont and all the way down into the Santa Clara Valley. Off into Napa too this afternoon with some 50s just along the coast. If you're traveling out of town today, temperatures are looking mild widespread throughout the state. If you're hitting the roads today, they're going to be a lot drier compared to earlier this week, with sunnier conditions expected today near South Lake Tahoe that just got that fresh powder earlier this week. And of course last week too, with the atmospheric river that swept throughout all the Bay Area and up into the Sierra as well. Now as we head into the afternoon hours today, you're going to notice these clouds continuing to diminish. We'll be left with sunnier skies today. Heading into the afternoon hours, not a cloud in sight, and that's the trend too as we head into Thanksgiving Day. Now if you're curious, okay, well the rain stopped now, how much longer is it going to last? Well, taking a look at the next 7 days, we're seeing dry skies widespread throughout the Bay. Yes, last week's atmospheric river definitely packed its punch, but on the bright side, heading into Thanksgiving Day, this is one thing we could be thankful for: dry conditions throughout the rest of this weekend for any fun outdoor activities that you have. Maybe you want to stretch the legs after Thanksgiving dinner, or maybe go on a jog the next day. I probably won't be that person if I'm honest with you, but here's what we're expecting as we head into this weekend. Those clouds are going to start rolling back in from Saturday heading into Monday, but don't be too alarmed by them. I mean, it's going to be a partly cloudy day, but no drop of rain in sight. The winds are going to be nice and light for us too. They're still a little bit breezy right now, kind of sweeping those clouds away into the afternoon hours this afternoon, but then we're going to see sunny skies on the back end with daytime highs in the 60s today, 50s right around the corner in our inland spots heading into Thanksgiving Day.
Well, the CHP is investigating a Tesla Cybertruck crash that killed 3 people in Alameda County today. The Cybertruck appeared to have collided with a tree around 3 this morning on Hampton Road and King Avenue. Piedmont police say a passing driver pulled the sole survivor from the burning vehicle. Police say the Cybertruck system notified them of the crash.
So at 3:08, we received a message from a Tesla truck stating that it had been involved in a collision. So that call from that truck rang into our 911 dispatch center. Nearly at that same time, we received a call from a resident who said there had been a collision and that the car was on fire. So our officers responded quickly to the scene, assisted by our fire department, and found a Tesla truck engulfed in flames.
Well, that survivor was rushed to the hospital. The condition is unknown. The exact cause of the crash right now is still unclear. Now to a California experiment meant to help get people with severe mental illness off the streets and into treatment. More local counties are getting ready to jump in. You may have heard of Care Courts. It's a plan by Governor Newsom. He says it was inspired by the horrendous conditions he witnessed on San Francisco streets. He even touted the program on CBS's 60 Minutes last year.
Foundationally, what Care Court is about accountability at all levels.
Worth the billions of dollars that you're going to end up spending on this?
We're spending more on the back end. We can save taxpayers billions of dollars and save lives.
Care Court was rolled out in only a handful of California counties last year. Here in the Bay Area, San Francisco was one of the original counties. Then San Mateo County joined in July. But starting next week, the program is expanding statewide. And local courts are getting ready. Our Max Darrow takes us inside Alameda County's Care Court, which is on the verge of a big launch after months of research and preparation.
For a little over a year, Judge Sandy Bean has prepared for an assignment that will be a first for her and for Alameda County.
I'm hoping for a flurry of activity because we want to have people here.
Bean will be the presiding judge over Alameda County's Care Act Court. Care Court is a civil court process aimed at providing a personalized care plan for people with specified severe mental illnesses, such as schizophrenia or other similar psychotic disorders, that prioritizes treatment, housing, and a path towards recovery. It's a collaborative effort between the Superior Court and the Behavioral Health Department. This is a voluntary step for people with the aim of getting help before they get involved with the criminal legal system, are committed to a state hospital, or end up in conservatorship. A person can petition for Care Court themselves. The process also allows for family members, first responders, and certain health professionals to file a petition.
What I'm looking forward to is really working with a segment of the population that's often avoided and often forgotten.
Over the last year, Bean and others involved have traveled to several counties in the state that have already launched Care Court to get a roadmap of how to get it running successfully. She's met with judges, attorneys, and other players involved, observed proceedings, and has asked a lot of questions.
What I came away with from all of the counties was that you have to work together, that it has to be a collaborative court, that you have to really know who you're working with, trust the people that you're working with, and really pull together.
We've taken a lot of what they've learned, which includes, how to develop some of our assessments, what our templates should look like, really how to partner with the court and the public defenders early on.
Juan Taizan is on the behavioral health side of the equation. He says they have focused on building a robust outreach and engagement team.
I do believe we will maximize the services that we've set aside for Care Court. I do think the need is there.
While that may be the case, turnout in other counties that first implemented Care Court, like San Francisco, has been considerably low. However, Taizan is optimistic and says people in Alameda County have been asking about Care Court for a while.
More from family members who are eager to get their loved ones into Care Court, into treatment that they think they really need and deserve.
I think Alameda County has a fairly large number of people who could benefit from this, and so I think it is needed. I think it's not the solution for everything. I think there's certainly more that's needed.
In the home stretch of the rollout, the Superior Court has held collaborative training sessions working with behavioral health personnel. They've been open to the public with the hope of spreading the word about Care Court.
We've gotten very good turnout, so that's been good.
A new assignment for Judge Bean and a new avenue for care in Alameda County for vulnerable people with a great need.
What I'm looking forward to is being able to, in any small way, help their lives.
Alameda County will officially start taking e-filings for Care Court on November 28th and in-person filings on December 2nd.
Well, as Max mentioned, participation in Care Court has gotten off to a slow start in some parts of the state, especially in San Francisco. Of the 9 counties currently participating, we received data from these 7. San Francisco only had 47 petitions filed since the October 23 launch. San Diego County was the strongest with 227 petitions. Governor Newsom's goal was to help 2,000 people statewide by the end of the year, but the first year into the program, the state is well behind with less than half of that number. But Governor Newsom is defending the lag. His office issuing this statement saying, quote, "The early successes at Care Court show steady progress toward connecting more people with life-changing and life-saving care. And while change is not always fast, this first-in-the-nation program is designed to disrupt the status quo, and we are seeing early promising results." The governor says he also signed a number of bills earlier this year meant to streamline the Care Court petition process. Well, Bay Area fugitive wanted for planting 3 bombs in the East Bay has been arrested in the UK after more than 2 decades on the run. Authorities say Daniel Andreas Sandiego planted 2 bombs at the Chiron campuses in Emeryville. This happened in August of 2003. One of them was found before it could go off. And a month later, he allegedly planted a bomb at a company in Pleasanton. No one was hurt, but we spoke with a former FBI agent who told us why Sandiego's crimes are so alarming.
And the fact that he was charged under domestic terrorism statute, that's not going to go away. And the property damage that was done, and just by chance, it could have really killed a lot of people.
Sandiego has been on the FBI's most wanted terrorist list. He was arrested in Wales. The FBI says he had domestic ties to animal rights extremist groups. A local nonprofit that feeds those in need is dealing with a major setback just ahead of Thanksgiving. The SOS Meals on Wheels holiday operation is stalled after thieves drilled into 3 of their refrigerated vans in their San Leandro parking lot last week, all to steal gas. Now the vans are out of commission, and the nonprofit is hustling to make sure thousands of homebound seniors get a hot meal for the holidays.
Frustration, disappointment, frustration that it's our vehicles. We're here trying to do good work to support our community, to help the homebound seniors who depend on us.
Well, the nonprofit is reaching out to volunteers, asking them to use their personal cars to make up for the loss. We're told that some clients may not receive their meals on their regularly scheduled days, and they will be contacted about those delays. Well, today, Thanksgiving travel is in full swing. Millions are expected to hit the roads for the holiday and in the air. TSA estimates that today will be the busiest day to fly. Veronica Macias is at the San Jose Mineta to check out the crowds.
Here at San Jose Mineta International Airport, things have been pretty quiet with peaks of crowds early this morning and between lunch. The majority of passengers traveling out of this airport deciding to arrive very early by 5 a.m. There was a long line that stretched down to baggage claim at Southwest Airlines, yet things moved very quickly. About 171 flights are scheduled to leave, and so far there have been no delays, no cancellations, and there was also plenty of security, which people say they are thankful to have. Things running so smoothly during the holiday rush. People also found that they were eager to get home, saying they were simply grateful for just another day and very excited to fly home to see family.
I am so thankful to the Lord for these many years that He's added to my life when twice they thought I was going to die from cancer.
Family and health.
I'm grateful for family because they're always there for me and they support me and they sent me to college and they're bringing me back home.
And when that next rush of people were expected to come in right before lunch, therapy dogs were going to be brought in here to San Jose Mineta International Airport to help people deal with the crowd.
Well, if you'll be traveling by road, AAA says most people will drive to their holiday destination with nearly 72 million expected to get behind the wheel. And the good news, you are saving a bit at the pump. The national average price for a gallon of regular is just over $3. Right now, the average price in the Bay Area is about $4.51 for a gallon of regular. That's down nearly 25 cents from a month ago. Statewide, you're paying about $4.43 per gallon, $1.37 above the national average. Still ahead on CBS News Bay Area, crackdown on encampments along creeks and rivers in San Jose. Why supporters say a ban is necessary and what this means for people with no place else to go. Plus, California may still be blue, but Republicans are making major gains across the state. We look at what's driving that red shift through the eyes of some Bay Area business owners who say they used to always vote Democrat.
And start questioning, okay, who allowed this to happen?
And there's a huge need to feed local families this holiday season. How North Bay Vineyard is repurposing greenhouses to help.
Well, the rain has finally come to an end. And taking a look at the next 7 days, we're dealing with dry conditions, not only on Thanksgiving Day, but heading into this weekend and next week, too. Don't be alarmed by the clouds rolling in as we head into this weekend's forecast. It's just going to be a partly cloudy setup for us for Saturday through Monday with daytime highs mostly sitting in the 60s. We'll notice that off into our inland areas, too. Upper 50s flirting with lower 60s throughout this week, heading into next week as well. Thanksgiving's going to be gorgeous, so sunny skies widespread throughout all the Bay Area.
Well, there's a new crackdown on encampments in Santa Clara County, this time targeting camps near most rivers, creeks, and waterways. An ordinance banning camping along them will go into effect next month. The county's main water agency voted to approve the ban on Tuesday. Valley Water says the encampments are harming water quality and the environment, and workers have been attacked. But our Kevin Coe spoke to some people living near Coyote Creek who aren't so sure where they'll go next.
Casara lives with her dog, Showtime, at Roosevelt Park in San Jose.
She keeps me on my toes, so that's a good thing.
She and several others live at this encampment along Coyote Creek, including Rico, who didn't want to show his face on camera.
Just so people in my family don't worry about me and they don't have to be fully aware of the situation. My brother has kids and they don't need to see their uncle.
Born and raised in San Jose, Rico has been living at Roosevelt Park for 4 years.
They pretty much ignore us until they say that we're a problem.
The problem, according to the Santa Clara Valley Water District, is trash and debris littering waterways like Coyote Creek. At a board meeting Tuesday, Valley water workers also said they're being harmed on the job, including being attacked with a machete and being chased away from waterways.
This individual was in pursuit and throwing chunks of asphalt at them. One of the chunks of asphalt damaged the truck.
The district needs to take greater responsibility for our safety.
In that same meeting, the board approved an ordinance to establish water resources protection zones spanning about 200 miles along creeks, waterways, and other areas the agency manages. Anyone living in these zones will receive outreach, then a 72-hour notice to leave. If someone doesn't, they could be charged with a misdemeanor and either a $500 fine or community service. Homeless advocates say the ordinance is being irresponsibly rushed.
The plan should not go into effect for a year. People have nowhere to go, and you know that.
The streets are going to be full of cardboard boxes and tents with people living in them.
Rico and everyone else I spoke with at the Coyote Creek encampment says they're waiting for housing opportunities. Casara says she's been waiting here for a year, but now she'll have to find a new place to go.
Heartbreaking for me because, I don't even know where I'm going to go. When you have trash, I understand it's very unsanitary for everyone. It's not safe for anyone to be out here. I understand that, but where else are we going to go?
Well, San Jose Mayor Matt Mayhem has made it a priority to clear encampments that are polluting the city's waterways. This ordinance was originally set for a vote in early July, but Valley Water postponed the vote until more community outreach could be done. Well, a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon appears to be holding today. The U.S. helped broker that agreement, but not before a wave of attacks by Israel on Tuesday afternoon. A Bay Area woman whose family is stuck in Lebanon hopes that the ceasefire they can finally get out.
People can be safe and be with their families in Lebanon, and my family can eventually get out safely.
Under the deal, the Lebanese army and state security forces will gradually take control as Israel withdraws its remaining forces from Lebanon. President-elect Trump has picked a Stanford professor to lead the National Institutes of Health. Jay Bhattacharya was a big critic of the pandemic lockdowns and vaccine mandates. He promoted the idea of herd immunity, the idea that people at low risk should live normally while building up immunity to COVID-19 through infection. The Golden State is still a blue state, but when you compare results of the presidential election between 2020 and 2024, you can see that the counties that flipped from blue to red supporting President-elect Donald Trump. Kenny Choi spent time in the East Bay and parts of Alameda County to find out why some small business owners say they also made the change.
Kenny Zhao built his American dream, becoming the owner of Elliston Vineyards in the tiny town of Sunol. He added these curious ostriches as part of the attraction.
The mountain lions and the coyotes eat all the chicken, but they cannot touch the ostrich. They're too big. They grow up so fast.
He and partner Tammy Lee both supported Obama and voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016.
I feel that this Democrat Party value really represented us.
At the beginning, I was kind of against the Trump.
Lee saved enough to open her first 7-Eleven store in Alameda County in 2011.
That's the American dream. You know, you got some small investment, get a few stores, you become your own entrepreneur.
It was a humble start to provide for her children. But after Prop 47 passed in 2014, which reclassified certain offenses from felonies to misdemeanors, including thefts under $950, their everyday lives at work began to crumble. Like many other small business owners, they saw a handful of petty thefts become exponentially more frequent and blatant.
I was a little puzzled why, and then later on when we figured out that's because of the law, then we feel this impact and we start feeling very angry.
They began to question if voting for incumbent Democrats was working for them.
It's gradual. It's not an overnight shift. Just you see that things that's not right, and you cannot do anything.
According to a breakdown of presidential voting data by Axios, Alameda County saw one of the largest shifts from blue to red in the Bay Area. Taking 2016 as the baseline, Alameda shifted just 1.5% in 2020, but this year it swung more than 11 points to red. Lonnie Chen is a Republican strategist and fellow at the Hoover Institution at Stanford University.
Given what's happening in the environment in California with public safety issues, with cost of living, with housing concerns, this does create a big warning sign for the Democratic Party and for Democrat politicians here in California.
While the economy is a driver in their shift to support Republicans and Trump, they say public safety played a huge role. Lee endured rampant reoccurring thefts for more than 5 years until low-level criminals started becoming violent.
He come over, just attack me.
Punched you?
Punching me on my neck here. You know, and I fell on the floor.
Soon after, in 2019, the Dublin resident, fearing for her family's safety, sold both stores.
And they start questioning, okay, who allowed this to happen? Why this, Democrat Party, they put in all this policy, these laws that doesn't make sense at all.
They still lean left when it comes to social issues, saying they support LGBTQ rights and equality for all, but believe a Trump administration will restore some of their core values of meritocracy and rule of law.
He actually can make sure we have protect our business, protect peoples, and protect everything we have.
All these daily things affecting the daily life, I hope that we Trump's in the House that, that can be restored.
They say they've decided to embrace the change, fully supporting the Trump administration, even bottling a MAGA wine vintage. The pair personifies a growing shift across California from blue to red.
Well, Asian American voters made a major shift to the right. Exit polls from the Washington Post show a 5-point swing to the GOP from the 2020 to the 2024 presidential race. Well, still ahead, meet the owners and growers of the Sonoma Winery helping to harvest food for the community when they aren't harvesting grapes.
Well, it's very important because everybody needs some food to eat, right?
it's a thing of the past. We are finally starting to dry up, not only today and tomorrow for Thanksgiving, but lasting into this weekend and early next week too. We have beautiful weather for us today. Just partly cloudy skies in the forecast to kick off the morning, but those will continue to sweep off into the east throughout the afternoon hours today. So here's what we're gearing up for. Thanksgiving's going to be a sunny, beautiful, dry day with low 60s in the forecast, widespread throughout the Bay Area. This is the time of year where we're all sitting hand in hand for those daytime highs. I say it a lot, but it is true. We head into the fall and winter months, and this is the time of year where we're all just kind of dealing with nice, cool weather with partly cloudy skies returning into the forecast heading into this weekend. Now, those clouds aren't going to be alarming by any means. They're not producing any rain whatsoever. We'll continue to stay dry into early next week with those sunny conditions returning into early next week as well. Enjoy this week. Have a lot of fun at Thanksgiving. Maybe you have the opportunity to get out there and get some fresh air before or after Thanksgiving. We have beautiful sunshine in the forecast for you to get out there, find a new trail, do some fun stuff with the family, especially during this time off.
Well, each year, our Food for Bay Area Families Drive highlights the urgent need to support our community and tackle hunger during the holiday season. But it's not just all canned foods and non-perishables. Lemmer Maris toured a Sonoma County vineyard that is using the off-season to grow other crops for a local food bank.
The massive greenhouses at Novavine in the Sonoma Valley were built to help young and tender grapevines grow for the wine industry. But this winter, they're growing hardy vegetables for hungry families.
Beautiful peppers.
That's Benito Vasquez, who's worked for Novavine for 20 years. Benito and his crew are harvesting peppers, tomatoes, tomatillos, and cilantro as part of a pilot program that keeps vineyard workers employed during the off-season while producing bushels of badly needed and culturally relevant food for the Redwood Empire Food Bank.
Well, it's very important because everybody needs some food to eat, right? So, yeah, we're just happy to get the supplies they need.
We have about 200,000 square feet of greenhouse space.
Novavine CEO Jay Jensen grew his company from a small family business in the 1980s into one of the most important grapevine and olive tree nurseries in California. But he needed to solve a problem: how to retain skilled workers during the off-season and keep his greenhouses busy year-round. A friend with a food bank connection hatched the idea of switching to vegetable farming during the winter to produce locally grown food during a time when it wouldn't grow outdoors.
This is one of our hoop houses, and in here we have tomatillas and we have tomatoes. And right now we're harvesting some of the tomatillas to be taken to the food bank today or tomorrow.
These crops were started from seeds last July and then transplanted into 5-gallon containers. The workers in the greenhouse give the plants everything they need.
They're getting heat, so we have bottom heat in these houses, so there's hot water circulating under the floor, so the heat comes up and keeps the root zones warm, which stimulates kind of aggressive growth and keeps the plants really happy. And at night, you know, the house might get down to 60 degrees, but it's not getting down to 40 or 35, and the soil's staying warm. So the plants are super happy.
And the food bank's Colin Davidson says the happy plants are producing bumper crops.
You know, if you buy these produce in the open market, they grade these, and these would be kind of an A+, which really aren't available to food banks. We're usually get B and C grade stuff through the Central Valley. So produce like this is just really normally bound for restaurants. So this is just exceptional quality. Just amazing.
It's also the type of food that many of the food bank's Hispanic clients are hungry for but don't usually get through existing channels.
This is a real connection as to who they are. You know, this is the food that they grew up eating. This is a food that's part of their culture. And so to be able to connect people in that way, not just to any old food, I think it brings joy to them to be able to get this type of food.
Top quality produce. It could bring top dollar, but Jay is giving it away because he values the abilities of his workers like Benito, who for the rest of the year is a highly skilled grapevine grafter.
It's really a win for us, Novavine, and then we're also able to contribute to the food bank and it's a real win for them and the people that use their services.
This first year of the program will keep 25 workers on the payroll instead of in the unemployment line.
Well, it's better to have, full year-round job. It's definitely better.
And it will produce about 35,000 pounds of fresh food, which will be shared with people in Sonoma, Lake, Mendocino, Humboldt, and Del Norte counties, many of them wine industry workers who were laid off for the winter.
We're really excited. And, it's really exciting to imagine this on a 10-time scale, which is kind of our goal to get there in the next year or two.
Fortunately, Jay has acre-sized greenhouses that can give the program room to grow. And just as importantly, he has valued and loyal workers who can help him take it there.
Well, to learn how you can donate food or money and volunteer your time, and you can use the QR code right there on your screen or head to our website at kpix.com/give. For every dollar raised, a Bay Area family will receive 2 meals. Coming up our next half hour in CBS News Bay Area, we're off to an extraordinary wet start to the rainy season. We'll get a check on the health of the North Bay's water supply to see if it's too much too soon.
We have a long way to go in this wet season, and we could have floods.
And how much are you spending for your Thanksgiving dinner? We went grocery shopping to add up the totals for ourselves. I'm Ryan Yamamoto. This is a minute. 3 people were killed in a crash involving a Cybertruck in Piedmont. It appeared to have collided into a tree around 3 this morning on Hampton Road and King Avenue. Police say a passing driver pulled a sole survivor out of the burning wreck. Santa Clara County's main water agency voted to approve a new ban on camping near most rivers, creeks, and waterways. Valley Water says the encampments are harming water quality and the environment. Community members argue it's unfair to criminalize homelessness. The ban is set to take effect in 30 days. And the Bay Area's newest Costco opened its doors this morning. The store in Pleasanton had seen campers since last week, but they were told to go home and line up again this morning. They said it was because of occupancy rules. The new Costco is on Johnson Drive. Bay Area's only primetime newscast at 8, 9 p.m. on all PIX Plus 44 Cable 12.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
We're finally beginning to dry up just in time for Thanksgiving travel today and Thanksgiving Day tomorrow. We have 60s in the forecast throughout most of the Bay Area, like Fremont and all the way down into the Santa Clara Valley. Off into Napa too this afternoon with some 50s just along the coast. If you're traveling out of town today, temperatures are looking mild widespread throughout the state. If you're hitting the roads today, they're going to be a lot drier compared to earlier this week, with sunnier conditions expected today near South Lake Tahoe that just got that fresh powder earlier this week, and of course last week too, with the atmospheric river that swept throughout all the Bay Area and up into the Sierra as well. Now, as we head into the afternoon hours today, you're going to notice these clouds continuing to diminish. We'll be left with sunnier skies today. Heading into the afternoon hours, not a cloud in sight, and that's the trend too as we head into Thanksgiving Day. Now, if you're curious, okay, well, the rain stopped now, how much longer is it going to last? Well, taking a look at the next 7 days, we're seeing dry skies widespread throughout the Bay. Yes, last week's atmospheric river definitely packed its punch, but on the bright side, heading into Thanksgiving Day, this is one thing we could be thankful for: dry conditions throughout the rest of this weekend for any fun outdoor activities that you have. Maybe you want to stretch the legs after Thanksgiving dinner, or maybe go on a jog the next day. I probably won't be that person if I'm honest with you, but here's what we're expecting as we head into this weekend. Those clouds are going to start rolling back in from Saturday heading into Monday, but don't be too alarmed by them. I mean, it's going to be a partly cloudy day, but no drop of rain in sight. The winds are going to be nice and light for us too. They're still a little bit breezy right now, kind of sweeping those clouds away into the afternoon hours this afternoon, but then we're going to see sunny skies on the back end with daytime highs in the 60s today, 50s right around the corner in our inland spots heading into Thanksgiving Day.
Well, the Bay Area is drying out and cleaning up after that storm that brought record rainfall in the North Bay last week. All that rain is good news for the state's water supply, which has been thriving after years of on and off drought. Our Wilson Walker breaks down what it means for our reservoirs this early in the season.
Well, I just wanted to get some footage along here with all the amazing colors and the water. Yeah, I always find it amusing that the old timers on the mountain were not so creative with their waterfall names. We have Cataract and Cascade, which both mean waterfall.
Those waterfalls are still gushing as the tail end of the storm system finally makes its way through the Tamalpais watershed. Hillary came out to enjoy the beauty of it all without the deluge.
Yeah, so this is just, everything from the previous storm that's left coming down. And so it's not crazy, but it's much more manageable for walking.
And all of that water is making its way into a Marin water system that is now at 88% capacity. And for late November, that puts reservoirs at 136% of normal for this time of year. That's the fullest the system has been at this point in the water season since Kent Dam was raised in 1983. And it's not just Marin. We also heard good news from Sonoma Water last week.
You look at well above what the average for this time of year is. So going into a water year with that amount of rainfall in our reservoirs already captured, it's a wonderful way to start.
And we can now see what the start looks like for the entirety of the state. This is the water season chart that compares different years. That blue line is the jump we just received from last week's rain. It not only kick-started the season for us in a big way, it puts the year on a similar starting trajectory that we saw back in 2016-2017. That was the drought-busting water year that is now the wettest on record in Northern California.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect to see 2016, 2017 just yet. That was 1 in 100 year kind of a wet water year.
Jay Lund is with the UC Davis Center for Watershed Sciences. He points to the state's major reservoirs, which are now climbing above their historical averages with sharp jumps, compliments from the last week's storm.
Yeah, payoff and worries more about floods, right? So, because we have a long way to go in this wet season, and we could have floods.
So the storm system was enough to push the state's water system towards fuller than normal, with a very long way to go.
Well, yeah, but we have a lot more bouncing that can happen in the next 3 months.
As we keep saying, average is hardly normal in California as we keep swinging from one extreme to the other, and there's really no way to know if the extreme rainfall that we just saw is going to be the exception or the rule this year. As we have all just experienced, we really have no idea what is coming right around the next corner.
And if you're headed up to the Sierra this Thanksgiving, conditions are improving for everyone headed to the mountain, but you should use some extreme caution. These are the conditions right now. This was along I-80 near Castle Peak earlier this morning. Today you could see smooth sailing, but a lot of snow out there, but the roadways for the most part are clear. And take a look at this. This is an incredible start to the ski season on Mammoth Mountain. It's going to need a bigger shovel. The area has gotten more than 2 feet of snow in the last 24 hours, nearly 60 inches already just this season. Well, it may come as no surprise that Californians will be paying more to host Thanksgiving dinner this year than other states. An analysis by Money Geek went into detail on the prices you can expect to pay for your Thanksgiving meal. They estimate it will cost about $153 to feed 6 people in San Francisco, Oakland, and the Fremont area. That is the 5th most expensive metro area out of more than 100 cities that were analyzed in the study. Gianna Franco went to see for herself. She and her husband went to a Safeway in Pacifica to buy a Thanksgiving meal for 15 people. See how it all added up.
Pro tip, don't park too close. It'll save time when it's time to go. And here we are. We're definitely gonna need evaporated milk for mashed potatoes. So we're gonna venture over to the frozen aisle to get some green beans. 3 bags, and these are about $2.79. Well, there's a lot of turkey left, plenty of it. Lots of different options too, anywhere from $1.99 a pound to $4.99 a pound. Cream of mushroom, 4 for $5. Success, we found the sourdough. We need probably 3, right? It is getting so busy in here. My husband and I decided to divide and conquer. So I'm gonna get the celery and the onions. He's gonna be on the hunt for the best bargain when it comes to the broth. Okay, let's grab some onions, $1.99 for onions. We have success. Oh, look at that. What do we come up with?
These are 2 for $5.
2 for $5, nice. And the crispy fried onions for the green bean casserole.
1 or 2?
2. My favorite thing for Thanksgiving, cranberries, yummy. Get the big bag, $6.99, that seems like a better deal. I'm doing an audible and changing out the rules. So in case we don't have oven space. So instead of the ones you have to bake, we're just gonna go with the Hawaiian party pack, because who doesn't love Hawaiian rolls? Yum.
Unsalted?
Yeah, 2 unsalted. Make a lot of whipped cream. That's $8.79. That's expensive. We need the sweet potatoes. We gotta get sweet potatoes. Okay, here it is, my favorite dish. Sweet potatoes. So here's where things start to add up when you need the little specialty items for some of your dishes with recipes that are probably traditional for many people, like pecans at $7.99, but that goes with our sweet potato yam casserole. Okay, last thing, a little pineapple. This goes with my yam casserole. What? Not stuck in the now.
With your Safeway card, will be.
I like when the number goes down. So the turkey was free, $31.30. All right, $199.54. You too. Happy Thanksgiving. Okay, so we did it. It took about an hour, but we got all our fixins for Thanksgiving. You can see down here, we got our turkey, and we've got all of our yummy stuff. Over this one, this cart has all the extra stuff, but all the Thanksgiving stuff came out to $199. That includes the free turkey. So there are some deals out there to be had, but as far as the national average goes, it's definitely a little bit more than $67 for feeding 10 people. But either way, we're looking forward to spending time with family. Happy Thanksgiving.
Looks like she was using a lot of coupons there. Well, if you're looking to cut down on these food costs, a financial analyst explains how you can save some money without skimping on those dishes.
There are ways to save money by choosing some alternative sides or maybe alternative brands. So you don't have to sacrifice sort of the satisfaction that comes with it, but still be able to save some money. So take another look at the label and don't sacrifice too much to enjoy your Thanksgiving dinner with your family and friends.
Up next, the 49ers facing a tough season, but that hasn't stopped them from giving back to the community. We check out the Niners annual feast. That's coming up next.
Well, the rain has finally come to an end. And taking a look at the next 7 days, we're dealing with dry conditions, not only on Thanksgiving Day, but heading into this weekend and next week, too. Don't be alarmed by the clouds rolling in as we head into this weekend's forecast. It's just going to be a partly cloudy setup for us for Saturday through Monday, with daytime highs mostly sitting in the 60s. We'll notice that off into our inland areas, too. Upper 50s flirting with lower 60s throughout this week, heading into next week as well. Thanksgiving's going to be gorgeous, so sunny skies widespread throughout all the Bay Area.
Well, the 49ers going through a pretty rough stretch on the field, but as Vern Glenn explains, that has not stopped them from giving back to the community for the holidays.
This is the Audi Red and Gold Report.
The 49ers held their annual Feast with the Niners event at Levi Stadium. It was a chance for 15 families to spend an afternoon with over a dozen players.
We got turkeys, pies, greens, beans, tomatoes, we got all that.
I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, ram.
But before they feasted, the 15 families were treated to a shopping spree at the team store.
You want a Fred Warner jersey? You could get a 5'7", but we got to get it made. That's not
Eventually, they made it outside and enjoyed a meal alongside their favorite players.
We're just having a ball, having a blast with a bunch of families here.
But the families went home with more than memories and Niners merch.
All right, fellas. Got us a nice little basket here. Thanksgiving, get all the essentials that you need, bro.
The holidays are a super special time for me. It's always a fun, positive time for me, and I understand that's not always the case for a lot of people. It's really cool to give someone the opportunity, you know, just to have the chance to have a really nice holiday, whether it's with food or time spent. I just think it's a wonderful opportunity to be out here.
With the Red and Gold Report, I'm Vern Glenn.
Okay, now to a tough loss with the Giants' two-time Cy Young winner Blake Snell has reportedly signed a 5-year, $182 million contract with the LA Dodgers after opting out of his $30 million option with the Giants. Snell did have a rough start after missing spring training, but dominated the second half with a 1.23 ERA over his final 14 starts. The move a big blow to Giants fans who hope to see Snellzilla remain in the city, but the reigning World Series champions made their move, deepening their already formidable pitching roster. Coming up, a new California law is seeking to diversify training in barbershops and salons. We're hearing from one barber on why he thinks it will benefit stylists and clients alike.
a thing of the past. We are finally starting to dry up, not only today and tomorrow for Thanksgiving, but lasting into this weekend and early next week too. We have beautiful weather for us today. Just partly cloudy skies in the forecast to kick off the morning, but those will continue to sweep off into the east throughout the afternoon hours today. So here's what we're gearing up for. Thanksgiving's going to be a sunny, beautiful, dry day with low 60s in the forecast, widespread throughout the Bay Area. This is the time of year where we're all sitting hand in hand for those daytime highs. I say it a lot, but it is true. We head into the fall and winter months, and this is the time of year where we're all just kind of dealing with nice, cool weather with partly cloudy skies returning into the forecast heading into this weekend. Now, those clouds aren't going to be alarming by any means. They're not producing any rain whatsoever. We'll continue to stay dry into early next week with those sunny conditions returning into early next week as well. Enjoy this week. Have a lot of fun at Thanksgiving. Maybe you have the opportunity to get out there and get some fresh air before or after Thanksgiving. We have beautiful sunshine in the forecast for you to get out there, find a new trail, do some fun stuff with the family, especially during this time off.
Well, there's a wide range of hair types and textures, but learning how to cut and style different types of hair isn't part of the curriculum for barbers or hairstylists in California. Lorene Ayub has more on a new state law that aims to change that.
Whether straight or curly, a new California bill is ensuring that hair care specialists are being trained to work with all types of hair textures.
When it comes to cuts, the details matter. That's why Juan Carlos Montemayor, owner of Wolves and Shears Barbershop, took the time to educate himself on working with various hair textures.
I learned a lot about different hair types through YouTube and being actually just in the barbershop, like learning from older barbers and different stylists.
But it wasn't in barber college. That's why he says he's happy to hear about a new California law requiring hairstylists to train for all types and textures of hair.
They just start with more knowledge and, they get to build and have a wider variety of clientele because you're working on a greater demographic of people. And so, I think it's phenomenal that this is becoming the standard.
AB 2166 will require barber and cosmetology schools to deliver a written test to students to gauge their skills in providing service to people with all hair types. The bill will also expand crimes for hairstylists if they violate the Barbering and Cosmetology Act, which is in place to prevent discrimination to clients based on hairstyle. Longtime client Eric Meyer says having a barber that understands his hair type is essential.
It's been really life-changing for me to have somebody that kind of understands my hair type and to keep it healthy. In the past, I've had, irritations with it, and I would just shave it all off, but I've really grown to embrace it.
And that's why Juan Carlos believes the new law will help both barbershops and salons to be a more welcoming and inclusive space, not just in gesture, but through proper training.
I'm excited for the industry. It feels and it seems like a win.
A win for both hair care professionals and their clients.
That bill stemmed from the 2019 Crown Act, which prohibits discrimination based on hairstyle. California is home to the largest number of cosmetology schools in the country. Well, thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. I'm Ryan Yamamoto. We'll be right back with your First Alert forecast and a look at your top stories.